I think it's better than yesterday.
Better than yesterday?
Yes.
What makes it better than yesterday?
At least I knew what yesterday could bring. Today I don't. So
yes. Oh, yesterday morning you knew what the day will bring.
No, like I think it's gone, and then I knew what the day brought.
Okay.
This morning I don't, but I'm alive. Here at Starr FM, answering questions for you.
Okay, so I guess we can begin with how things are running. It's been 9 months already in this year 2021.
Yes.
Last year was uniquely different. COVID changed everything.
Yeah.
But what's been the recovery plan for the NSS after the COVID of 2020, especially on national service?
Good morning to both our viewers and our listeners. It's been, I think for us, we've not had a lot of change apart from maybe change in our timing. So funny for us, somewhere 2018, we started looking at more of digitizing the systems and putting the systems in place where the national service personnel can easily be able to have any access to the processes without really walking in, and can do it by just a tap on the phone or any digital platform. So we had processes like getting them to book appointments before they go to register. We've had sending their national service certificates to them via courier services, so they don't even come crowding at our various places. And so when COVID came, all we had to do was to just shuffle them and say, these people go like a month, these guys would go the other month. And this year, the only thing that had affected us is we by now would have started the service, but then we had to hold on because, and I don't even think the blame is on COVID, it's really on the UTAG strike. So the UTAG strike pulled us back.
How so?
Yeah, so what happened was that national service, when you look at our Act there at 426, it's clear in there that you're supposed to do service when you're a graduate, so a student cannot do service. And then UTAG prevented the national service personnel who are still students from completing, because when they went on the strike, it affected the school calendar. And these people are about to complete, so we are only waiting for them to fully complete. Then we can issue the postings, and then they start national service. So
just so I'm clear, the new cohorts, or those who are supposed to do their service, are not ready yet because of the UTAG strike.
Sure.
So they're not done with school?
No, they're not done.
For them to start their service?
Most of them are not done with school.
Most of them?
Yeah.
So it means summer?
Yeah, summer. But then if it's not more than 85%, it becomes difficult because, like I said, as they are writing exam, they can also be focusing on coming to register. That will not be fair to them because it wasn't their fault that UTAG went on strike.
Okay. So give and take, per your projections, how soon will this be sorted so their postings can be also taken care of?
It should be sorted because we've already had conversations.
Within what, 2 weeks?
2 weeks, yeah. We've already had conversations with the VVCs. We've already had conversations with their we are under the Ministry of Education, so it was easy for us to have all these conversations. And then as we are speaking, we've been able to finish it because our processes are done. We've even gone live before. So I think in last 2 weeks, we had a stress of going on live. I think one of the dawns where our national service personnel who are very active were all on the portals, and some of them had the privilege of having previews of what our processes were. So for us at national service, we are done, awaiting just the signal that 85 to about 90% are done with school. Then we would issue the postings. Yes.
Okay, because yesterday when we posted the flyer that you are coming, somebody sent a message into our Twitter DM, as it's called. Again, let me just read it to you, then I'll get a response. He says, "Hello Starr FM, I'm aware that the boss of the NSS will be appearing on your show today. This is urgent. I'm a final year student of the University for Development Studies, UDS WA campus.
Okay.
Please kindly inform Madam Gifty Oware that all my classmates have had their postings. I'm the only one left behind. I haven't had access to my PIN code. I've lodged a complaint to my department officer and the WA NSS regional office somewhere in July. I was informed that they are working on it. I've been running up and down between my department and the NSS regional office, but it seems they are not doing anything about it." Says, "I sent Madam a personal email to lodge a complaint. I didn't get any response from her." Okay. He says, "I'm disappointed and fed up. Please kindly ask her to help me register to serve my country. I beg you in the name of God. I can't wait till next year."
What's the person's name?
I can pull it up for you. See if you can pull it up.
So
for
what
me.
really happened is that any complaint I get when it's technical is sent to the technical team. But I think
so Razak Tambro.
Yes, Razak Tambro. I think I personally replied him, and which I would show you.
Yeah.
And copied, even in the reply, I copied my director MIS. So what really happened was that Razak, you should rather check your mail and check to reply us, because what he sent me had no details of him. And then again, we do not know our national service personnel by any of the details, and the only way we are able to react is when we have the details that they would give us, and then through their schools, because you will check UDS and you realize that there are many of them, so you can check it. So I even replied.
Oh, so there was a response.
Yes.
Okay.
So I asked them to look
assess this person. Okay.
Right.
Okay. All right. So you got the mail, you responded, and asked that help be given.
I responded.
Okay.
And that is most of the time I'm not even personally supposed to. It's just supposed to push it to them for them to react. And then again, what he should also know, like I'm happy he said he's going to his department. It's only his school that will be able to send national services details.
Okay.
And I do not know how just him alone would be singled out of the whole lot, whilst they were bringing it to the National Service Office. So if that is also done, it means that there was an issue, and at this point I think that if Razak, I'll pick his details and then again from you, so we can be able to really
work on it.
What exactly the issue is, because most of the time the school will have their own reasons why they would not include an individual's name, because the school brings us their completion list.
Yeah.
So if in the completion list you are not included, it means there is a problem among the school system, because it's only the school that can provide us your details. Without it, we can't work on it, and we don't take details personally from people.
Okay, so that's on the matter of postings. So generally postings, you're saying that you once this UTAG matter is sorted out,
UTAG is already sorted out.
It is done. So after your exams,
yes,
and completion list is given, then you'll be able to do the postings.
No, we already have completion list.
Yeah.
So completion list is given to us somewhere January. So what we do is we go through a process called, so the completion list in our system is called the master list. The master class list is what the schools give us.
Okay.
When the schools give us, we use the master class list, we authenticate it, we try to put it right. We don't touch your name as how the school sent it. We do not have any access to how the course you are offering and how it is written, or any other detail the school sends us. So what we do is that we put this thing into a process where you can easily access with your index number and other details. Then you can be able to go on our portal and register. When we issue pins, now all of them were done on time. That's why I said COVID didn't really prevent us from doing all of these on time.
You were able to do the needful
until the UTAG strike came up.
Okay. About payment of allowances.
Yeah.
That's frankly, I think for anybody who monitors the NSS, the single biggest thing that always comes up is allowance payment. Is there a reason why there are delays?
Are there really delays? So Francis, I had done this education over and over again, and I'll do it again here. So national service system is like the military system, where we run into the middle of the month process.
So you don't pay end month, you pay middle of the month. Okay.
We don't run the end month, we run the middle of the month. So if you ask any national service personnel, those who were doing service, the next month you go submit your details middle of the month. That is when you are authentified. So really, who would sit to think that if I want to pay you for June, why will I ask you to bring me details of payment of June, middle of July? You've not really done all the July work. So really, and I'm surprised all of a sudden when they are submitting, it's fine for them, because I don't know whatever happens with them, but when their payment is supposed to come before the 15th, it's a big deal. So the reality is that anytime we pay between the 1st to 10th, national services will only paid earlier, and it's not because we have paid them on time. No. So anytime we had come on social media and said, oh, they've been paid, and it's like somewhere 4th or 5th, and somebody comes to say, oh, all we are just saying is for their information, because we keep getting calls and things are coming, and we are not late in payment. As we speak, all of the processes have been done. We sent everything to GIFs. We only pay through GIFs. That's the e-switch system. Yeah. Just to prevent any fraud or any challenges we used to get. And these people are supposed to be paid. Today is 13th. Latest end of today, they're supposed to be paid. Okay. Before the middle of the month.
So, per the payment schedule, it's always mid-month.
It's
supposed to be mid-month. So if it comes earlier, it's just earlier.
Sure. And you see, the point is their payment also connects to this. Now, National Service personnel can only be paid after controller releases funds. And it's exciting how often than not every month this is the schedule we go through. There's a process, and there is no way controller do not release funds into the National Service effects before payment is supposed to be done. It's done when I say, okay, I've cleared these people, these are the people I'm going to pay. Then the money is released to me. Like I'm saying, at this process, as you and I are speaking, they are done. The year in review is done. The higher number is done. It's NSS and I think some few teachers that are still doing service. And these people are going through the same chain. This month we are preparing to pay them. And as we are speaking, they've started sending their monthly duty forms to the various districts that they are serving. And then they will be paid at the appropriate time.
Okay, so in spite of this education you do all the time, you still get a lot of people who come and say, I've not been paid my allowance.
Yes.
I remember, was it 3 months ago or 4 months ago? It became a big storm. I remember you had to respond to some of these things on social media. How do you take these things and how do you constantly reorient persons who are doing national service to see things the way you have just explained?
So it's like I keep saying, it's a human nature thing where whether we like it or not, the people that even know the right thing would sometimes want to, as far as it's my money and I think I work for it, I want it no matter how, no matter what. So it got to a point that we decided to say, okay, we are going to pay when it's ready and then we keep quiet. But sometimes when my national service personnel are people who are youthful, had a lot of exuberancy and the adrenaline is high, if you do not reply them, then that's when it turns into insults. So I decided to say, okay, why don't I, and obvious working with young people and being a youth myself, I appreciate our SSS. So things that may get everybody else angry, I try to be laid back. But sometimes it hurts when you see, let's say, for instance, like a media person who is supposed to come and seek for answers, rather come play games and not see that it's human beings' emotions the person is playing with. Because it's just a point I keep telling people, I've had a point where someone was not paid somewhere, I think on the 2nd, and the person had sent me a message and said, you will die, and I'll make sure I kill you. Yes. So when most of the time some media
threats on your life,
some media, and these are people sometimes we have to follow to arrest, and then who are we hurting? You're hurting a young man because you thought you were playing maybe mischief or games on your social media as an influencer, as someone who you know people listen to. You came to play with it. You didn't even know that as your games, it ended up in messes. And these are what we've tried to make people understand, that you can come to seek information. You can put the information you want to know out there, but you do not put it out there to offend a young person. Because see, I tell people, we serve people who are in that point of they just left school and they for the first time most of them are earning, and they don't even know if they are still children, I mean youth, or they are even adults. These people have their own frustrations. So anything that frustrates them, anyone that makes them feel that you are being cheated on, the person would want to react. It's like somebody pulling up and saying that, oh, Gifty salary. I remember one of those audit things, and then one of the media houses, somebody pulls up on social media and says, oh, this is what your boss is earning, and put your money in the month. And I'm like, really? Are you just saying that you, the person who is even putting this out, are you not ashamed to think like we're educated and you working in an agency? Look at your general manager's salary and yours. Is it the same? And then you are going out there to think maybe sometimes pranks, thinking you are exciting yourself, but what you are doing is you are hurting people. And after, let's say if I had caused an arrest of the young man who I said had threatened my life, and severally, I've got several of them in my inbox, even on my page, threatening my life. If I had arrested the next morning, the news item maybe on Starr, your web would have been National Service Deputy Executive Director decides to arrest a National Service personnel. But look at it, I also have family, I have people that I also connect to that would not want anything to happen to me. So these people, if I don't even want to react, these people won't react. And look at what happens to the reactions and the inactions of other people.
Okay.
So I think that as we give information, now we have now, fortunately for us, the information bill is, right information bill has been passed. Anybody that comes into our office, we are public. National Service has been one of the most active on social media and also even in the print media when it comes to giving information out. and gladly we'll always give the information from our websites, wherever.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you, the media team, should help us with. Because if you're able to help us to give the correct information out there, then it saves everybody. Because I've done this over and over again, just beneath the post of most of your colleagues. Yet the next month you see the same person, you did that education and just come to say
a different thing. Okay. More questions coming. This one says, hello Francis, please ask Madam Gifty this question for me. I completed my service in 2020 and was the beneficiary of the certificates that were delivered at my doorstep.
Okay.
However, when I received my certificate, it didn't bear my name.
There was an error.
But a girl's name. I managed to get in touch with the girl whom I got a certificate because we both served at UG.
Okay.
But she also said she had received her service certificate. I reported the case, but no solutions yet. As at now, I only have the digital copy of my NSS certificate. Can Madam help with my plight?
Yes, I can. But the beauty of it is this, like he said. So you see, Francis, we are sitting at national service, and one of our innovations had been the fact that this young man says he has his digital certificate.
Yes.
And his digital certificate has a 2-factor security where nobody else can ever anyway forge his certificate, and on any day this certificate he has to just print it and use it. So you don't necessarily, because we used to have a problem of people losing their certificates and they will have to come to national service, go to the police, take a police report, go here, go there. There was so many stress. So we say now let's digitize the certificate, keep it yourself for the rest of your life. So yes, he can still have access to his original, like what do you call it, the hard copy certificate. He just has to go to, for he served at UG, which means he served under the landmark. So he has to go to the La Madina Quantanan district, and when he goes there, the municipal director is going to make sure they go through the process, because what people don't get is when you come to the headquarters, there is less I can do because you didn't even serve under me. Even the headquarters staff are serving under Dayewaso West Wogon Municipal. So I am not the one who authorizes the headquarters staff, their process. So if you are a national service personnel at the headquarters, you still have to go and deliver your details before you can get all the processes.
And how these things sorted out.
Yeah, they should bear with us. That is that the municipal we serve, not at the headquarters.
Okay, interesting. So when let's talk about the postings for a minute. On the postings, is there anything called protocol postings?
No.
Where people can choose where they want to go?
No. So when if you come to our office and you said you're posting, they would ask you what is posting, because in our service we call it deployment. Okay, so
protocol deployment.
No, we don't have protocol deployment. There is no word called protocol deployment. You know, when you go through our act, some of the crimes are, do you know lobbying, which is supposed to be a beautiful point of view showing your negotiative skills, and it's a crime at national service, so you don't even lobby to be posted.
So nobody has ever lobbied to be posted?
You are not supposed to.
Not supposed to, but does it happen?
For that I'll plead the fifth, because I don't know if people do, but for me, nobody comes to plead with me too.
But since you are at the helm of affairs, are you aware of these reports? Okay,
so for instance, the same way, like the services are employing, there are a lot of things you would hear that this did this, someone did that, but most of the time the most frustrating part of it is that you may once in a while be able to chase those recalcitrants and get to them, but it's difficult, because the person doing the crime and the person who is also the trade, they are both criminals. Because if I decide to pay you, Francis, some money and say, okay, Francis, do this for me, when I so know that it's supposed to be free, then I'm also as a criminal as you are. And the challenge is, every year, whether we like it or not, they will still get people who want to play fast on people and who are even sitting down and assuming. I remember somebody had sent me a link before, and the link seemed like national service. The only thing that had was ours is www.nss.gov.gh. The other one had .com. So people every day want to be innovative, because we post about 120,000 people. If you're able to scam, let's say, even 1,000 people with 10 Ghana cedis, that's so much money. So people are every day doing all of these things. So we can't stop people from doing these things. All we can do is always educate these people. That is why we have campus orientations. That's why we have group orientations. We go to the extent of leaving this orientation on our platforms for people to be educated. That, see, reposting is not a crime. Reposting is accepted at national service.
Reposting meaning?
Reposting meaning that I have been posted to Starr FM. I went to Starr FM by whatever reason, they cannot let me work there. All I just have to do is to go back to national service, and I'll be sent somewhere else. And that same place would be the same district you are in, the same region, nothing will change. The difference is Starr FM will change. So it will just be EIB moved into something else.
Okay.
So if I want to do media, maybe I could just go to any of the other media houses.
Okay.
And these things we always tell these people to understand. Because I tell this, I had a young lady walk into my office and say, Madam, I'm sorry, but you posted me to GMPC, which everybody else wants. But I have a boyfriend who says if I leave the town I'm in and go somewhere else, it's over between us.
Hey.
You see, you see, to everybody, look weird. But that's the point. For us as national service, we do not break relationships. Mine is supposed.
So who does?
I can't tell. But the point is, I'm supposed to give you the comfort of service. So when you are delivering to Ghana, you can deliver well. This young lady's concern may look trivial, but it's a huge concern that may distract her if you post her to GMPC Takoradi, because she may be frustrated. So at the end of the day, I had to ask her, where do you stay? Which town are you in? We posted her to the town she is. We post based on these criteria.
Okay. So there are some extraneous circumstances where you have to look at their postings again.
One, we look at the people that are seeking for you. So before we commence even the posting, we'll first look at the people that are married and we don't look at married men, we look at married women. And then we look at pregnant women, and we look at people with disability, and post them closer to home, places that they can easily serve and be able to remote back home. Now, when we are done with that, we look at who is being sought for. So when you check, we post more into the education and the health sector.
Yes.
So if these two sectors are asking us for people, we now cover their postings. When we are done with their posting, the next thing we do is to look at the courses people offered. So if I did engineering and all the engineers had been posted to so and so company, and then someone else is still asking for some engineering, we look at what is closest to that. So for instance, if they said they wanted chemical engineering and someone else did chemistry, if a person didn't do education chemistry, we'll post this person to work at the engineering firm. If for instance someone is looking for, let's say, someone who might have done material science, and we are done posting material science and we still had math, we'll post the person there. We have statistics, we'll post the person to this places.
Okay.
So when we are done with that, then we look at the general posting. So after all these ones are covered, now as a lot of us are left, which other places do we have? Can we generalize the slots? And without looking at the face, the NSS number, the details of the person, we look at which regions they picked. So I might have picked Greater Accra, I might have picked Eastern region and placed there. If these regions are full, we come to look at which regions
other
need
areas.
More people.
Okay.
Then we post them.
And for the reposting, do people take fees for them?
It's free.
It's free.
Reposting is not just free, it is extremely free.
Extremely free. What's the difference between free and extremely free?
So you are not even supposed to text, which would waste a battery of yours to get reposted. You're just supposed to walk into the National Service Office. It's the duty of my staff to repost you.
Okay.
And until all the National Service personnel are out there doing their service, the staff do not rest.
I'm getting a lot of messages. Somebody says there are insiders within your organization that take money from graduates in an attempt to pay, in an attempt to do reposting for them.
You see,
they should. I'm coming. He said they should investigate the IT department. People are making a lot of money out of this illegal activity.
Right, Francis, I will do all of these things the person is saying, but it hurts when I sit as National Service boss and the next second, for instance, I am supposed to be the final sanctioner of the National Service posting.
Yeah.
So any crime anybody did, rests on me.
Yeah.
Is that not it? Right.
Yes.
So if someone, most of the time I tell people, it's so frustrating when someone says, oh, you have to look at your staff. Look at this. If my friend is Francis, as we've been friends for long, and a young lady walks in here like you're getting all these messages, and 10 of them send you posting and say, my mother is sick. I don't have anyone to take care of my mother. Please, Starr FM, help me get posting in Asankrigwa. And Starr FM decides to go through you as my friend or any of the HR people or someone to bring them to us. Whether or not that young person even sending is him or her, we don't know. Whether or not that person seeking for the help are taking a dime, we do not know. But who are we helping? We felt that the person went seeking for help from Starr FM, so we need to help the person. Now, if there be challenge that the person says they took one password from me, who is supposed to be blamed? Will it be Starr FM? Will it be Gifty? or will it be the team I sent the details to?
Okay.
So there is a complex oral around this whole conversation, that we have young people, adults, people who are connected to the system, who say, I'm sorry, but there was this challenge we received. The schools have brought people, and to the extent that, for instance, MTN go recruit people from the various schools, and they bring them. There are still people who are frauds who go around and also say, I'm recruiting for so and so, bring your list and I'll take it. Now, before you know, yes, somebody may walk into the MTN office, to the HR's office, and say, I have this son, I beg you, he did so and so, because his dream is to work with National Service. His work, with MTN. Give it out. HR brings it to us. Later on, if there is some fraud around it, who is supposed to be blamed?
Okay, but in those instances, is an investigation cost to look into it? Because because look, these things happen.
Every year as we are speaking, National Service, in collaboration with National Security, with BNI, with the police, have arrested a lot. We've imprisoned people. As we are speaking in Ashanti region, I still have the Attorney General's office working on a project there.
Okay.
Looking at all of this, but like I'm saying, it keeps happening. I have 120,000 people we are posting. It keeps happening. You cannot even stop your mandate to go look into this. So all we do is to push it to those whose mandate it is for them to look through this, and we keep going on with our mandate. Our IT system, like they're saying, if you ask a lot of them to mention the people in our IT system, you may be amazed that people may not even be able to, because there are people we keep shuffling, people we keep twisting around, and every year, if I tell you the processes we go through to be able to do exit conferences, to bring out the posting, you'll be amazed. And all of these processes are done. Sometimes the supposed people who work in this department do not even know when the postings are going to be done. The onus lies on few people's bosom. But when it is out there, it becomes a point. Look at your staff. Look at your staff. And I keep looking at this staff. I keep looking at people. And if you're not very careful, you're going to be pushed to begin to see your staffs as the criminals. But look at it. Most of this staff are given, like I said, as the boss. If people begin to give me a list and say, do this, do that, help me with this one. If you don't and say, no, your word should just be posted like this. Okay, Gifty, as a friend of mine, look at what she did to me, and it becomes a point of your name for
So what? It becomes a matter of influence peddling that sometimes influences the postings?
No, this is not about influence. Like I said, if somebody had sought for assistance through you, like today on Adom, is it Adom or Inshira, the young chap without a nose?
Yeah.
As we
that's Nkunim.
Nkunim, good. As he has spoken, if the hospital has said that, okay, we need assistance, and we had assisted, you think it was influenced?
No.
That's the point. Because I may help not because I was influenced, but I may help because I heard the story on Starr 103.5 and I was touched and I felt like I should help. So if Starr is saying that there is like this young man who said that he needed help, and Razak, I'm going to help Razak because though I had shown you my reply to Razak, the point is that he has seeked for help again. So if really I didn't even come here and Razak had sent it, he would have sent it to me and said, Gifty, Razak needs this assistant. If I help Razak, and tomorrow we find out that Razak had not paid, let's say, his fees or something, that's why his school didn't bring his details.
It means all of us in the chain get implicated.
Thank you.
Okay.
And that's why we're suffering. So it's difficult to work under a youth agency.
Difficult.
Extremely difficult.
Have there been points where you wanted to quit because of all these things?
Many times.
Many times?
Many times.
You thought of quitting?
You don't just think of quitting. You think of telling yourself that, is this not too much? Is this not frustrating? It's so frustrating to sit at a point where you think everything is fine, and the next second, like social media, I've seen a video of a young chap on Facebook saying, bring your posting, bring your posting, we will give you posting, come and pay 20 CD, and you see all these videos, and then you arrest this person, and the next second some family comes to you and say, you're sorry, but our son was only goofing, or our daughter was just goofing, forgive. And then the process going, really, they don't really find anything, and it was one of those Snapchat excitements for them, and then they don't even have the person that you type even NSS, you even find it on the person's phone, so the person has no connection to NSS, and then you move on. But yet again, someone else is out there insulting and making it look like it is your reason, it is your age. So there are that point, yes, you want to serve the people, you wish you're serving them right. That's why we are always trying to keep things, digitize things, get them on a lot of things that would prevent all of this stress.
Yeah.
But then again, when it gets very frustrating, sometimes you feel like, as human as we are, many times
Okay. Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
And I think many other people to work in other agencies will also tell you. Even I think there may be times where presidents of countries will want to quit. Because it gets frustrating when, for instance, you hear some young chap insult Nanado and say, like, look at him. Like, you look at it and say, oh, really, if I wasn't here, who would have said this to me?
Okay. Here's another one. Today I'm just giving you what the people want. Because clearly NSS has a lot of connections.
Yes, it's fine.
This one says, good morning, Francis. I selected Greater Accra, Ashanti and Eastern Region, and got posted to Upper East.
Yes.
Why?
Why? Because he needed to know his other regions in the country and also to be able to serve at where he was needed. Because we don't just post people, we post people to places they are needed. If you remember, when I was telling you the criteria today, I said that when we're done, we look at which regions had not been fulfilled, which regions needed some expertise we have not sent to.
Okay.
So yes, it's possible that his expertise were needed in Upper East, Upper West, more than he was in Greater Accra, Eastern and Ashanti.
That's why you sent him there.
And that's why we sent him there. Like I keep saying, it's nothing personal. We don't look at whether you are handsome or not, because the people that are even doing the posting, they don't even see whether you are handsome or not.
Okay.
Because they don't even see the pictures.
Okay. Okay. Again, as I said, a lot of messages coming. So with the service, when you're done, completed, you've got your certificate.
Yes.
What kind of year-on-year assessment do you do to ascertain the quality of work that these 120,000 people every year give to the country?
So though they bring us their monthly duty form, what we pick is an annual assessment form. The assessment form, the annual one gives your supervisor and your supervisor's supervisor from being able to get.
So why are you laughing?
It's fine.
Why you saw me shocked?
Extremely shocked.
Okay, I'm seeing all manner of freak messages.
So what we do is that we find. We make them bring us an assessment of the people, and then they tell us, and this assessment is what determines if the people will be given their NSS certificates or not. So the process is that you've done service, and then quarterly we also put out surveys, monkey surveys among our national service personnel to also know their challenges.
Yes.
And we have a desk at national service called the inclusion desk, and this desk is supposed to also take care of them by telling us, because some of them, in as much as some of them could be very funny and they could do all the wrongs, they also go through a lot of stress at the workplace. So we have this desk that's also tell us what they are also going through. And before they do their exits, for instance, when they were doing it in June this year, when they had to put their assessment form, there were a few questions we asked them to understand and appreciate how our stakeholders' engagement are going to be. So now when I'm going to meet so and so agency, I know that this agency, this thing keeps coming up, and then we have to correct them. Yeah. Okay.
It's 4 minutes to 9. You're listening to Morning Star live here on Star 103.5 FM. My guest this morning, Gifty, Oware Aboagye, the Deputy Executive Director for the National Service Scheme. Wait, Acting Executive Director for the National Service Scheme. Are you waiting for confirmation?
It's solely in the bosom of the president.
Do you want to be confirmed?
I can't talk about that.
Why not?
Because, like I said, it's like someone asking me.
Wouldn't you want to serve, be at the very top?
I have been serving all this while.
Yes, I know you've been serving, but do you want the top job?
You don't need to be on the top to serve.
I know you don't need to, but do you want to?
I won't answer that.
Why won't you answer that?
It's personal.
Why is it personal? you have ambitions. What's wrong with that?
No, but yes, I have ambitions, but I would want to speak about my ambitions when you and I just sit there. Speak about the ambition on Starr 103. I'm not on the Starr chart. Maybe when I'm on the Starr chart, I may be able to turn an hour if I want to. If I have ambition to become president,
but you tell me.
I'll tell you when we are on that personal note, but
not on air.
Not on the morning.
I see.
We are not on a teacher.
Okay. The reason I was a little shocked is that I've just seen a screenshot of the messages being sent on WhatsApp platforms. That very important. Prospective personnel should make their money ready for instant repostings to your preferred place of choice. Instant repostings cost 250 cedis, and then there's a number given.
Okay. So you'd be surprised that you connect to this number. We keep giving these numbers to national security a lot. Sometimes you connect to them. I'm happy that now the Minister of Communication is saying that we're going to link our numbers to our Ghana cards, and then without a Ghana card, you can't even register a card. So it gets easier. But some of these numbers you check, and before you know, you go to some village and some girl sitting somewhere who didn't even know that there was a
number is being used for these things.
He or she had gone to register, and because people could easily transfer the money to someone else, and see all this processes happen. And because I have a security background, but I'm not a security person. I'm not a practitioner, so it's difficult for us as national service to follow up on all of them. Some of these things happen. Like I said, we have a team that is sitting down looking at some of these things. We go connect. But you see, there is something very beautiful. I remember somewhere, was it in January or no, I think in February. I did something very beautiful. So one day came and I said, everybody who is on our system, who can have access to doing anything, should leave the system. And one morning it was just me on the system. And that day I remember the insults I got, and I was asking myself, and the insults were on social media. And I was asking myself, how did all these people know I've taken all the people out? Because it's administrative.
Yeah.
So how did they know? So it can tell you that whether you like it or you're working with human beings who still have connections, who have tight links with people, and then all these things happen. So some of these things would have to pick them up and follow them up and make sure that the right groups would do the right thing. But for now, there is little I can do sitting here.
Okay, all right. The monies you pay for the NSS allowance is what? 559.
559.04. The 0.04 is very important.
So it's 04 pesos.
Yes.
04 pesos.
And the 04 pesos keep growing, and it's 04 pesos times 12 months.
So that's,
you can imagine,
like 48 pesos.
Yes. And this 48 pesos.
No, wait. 04 is not 48.
No, it's not 48. 04 times 12.
It's 4.8.
Yes, 4.8. And you see this 4.8.
That's almost 5 pesos.
Yes, and you see this 4.8 means a lot to the national service personnel.
How so?
The 559.
How so?
Ask any personnel.
Tell me why.
I'm just telling you, because
why is it important?
When I was 7 at national at KNUS, I remember we were being paid 250 point, I think 0.1 or something, and the 0.1 was so important to us that when we go and take our allowance and the 0.1 is off. See, the way we would those times social media wasn't around, and I tell people that it was just my own karma that sometimes comes to me. The way we would go and harass the then regional director that say, please, our money, and what money are we asking for this 0.1? So you see, the national service personnel has their own assignment, like I said. We don't take taxes from their allowance. We don't take a dime from it. But then when they go and the 0.4, which often maybe bank charge or something is being taken, you don't know what they do to us. And how much
they harass you for that.
Yes, and how much they will come and write on our platform and say, you thieves, stop stealing our 0.4.
So you add it. You make sure you add it.
It's not just adding. It is paid. But then because of bank charges, because they use the e-switch and then the card must be worked on and all that, so they may lose some bit, and when they lose it, they knowing so well when you have an ATM you still pay bank charges, they come harassing Gifty and their team. But
for the amount they're taking, the 559, they said it's not been increased in the past 4 years. Why?
That's not true.
So what's true? Talk to me.
So 2000, it was in 2018, I think, to 17-18 that it was increased, and then it was increased from a 350 to the 559.04, like I said, and
that was in 2018.
2018, I think, yeah.
Okay.
So, but this year's budget really has been read. Media review has been done, and then there's not been any increment. So there is no way those going to commence would have increment. If there is supposed to be any increment, then it means that it's supposed to affect, though it may affect them small because the next year's budget is in preparation. We may, but
have you made a case for an increase in the next budget?
Every year of the life of a national service boss, you will always make ways
a case for increase.
The reason is because, to me, what will I lose to see my national service personnel being paid 1,000 cedis? Nothing. Ghana may lose some money, but the point is, it is just to give back to the society, because these people are still taxpayers. They do things that will still give back to the country. So really, it's no big deal. But what is a big deal is that it will still have to go through appropriation. We would have to sit to justify it. And after all the justifications are done, if the system deem it fits, then we can have the increment. But I think that is something we have been looking at for a while, because we've been bombarded with a lot of those kind of messages on our platforms, and then that's how the generation comes when we want to put up an increment. And I think NASPA 2 is brought something around it, yeah. Okay. So you're making a case for the increase? We will. Okay. Is there any part of the monies that the national service people pay and there are deductions from source? No. So what they do, like national service, when you're registering, you pay a 40 cedis. If you're using the Momo system, you pay 41 cedis. The 41 is for the charges. And then the 40 cedis, the details of it is that part of it is administrative, all the administrative charges of all the processes we give them, including the digitization we have done. Then 10 cedis, I think, goes into the NASPA, they being NASPA people, the National Service Personnel Association. And I think the other 10 goes into their ID cards and the details they pay during the ID card to check for them. So
for the 559, the deductions are about 100 cedis?
No, we don't deduct it from it. No deduction.
No deduction. No. So is there any truth to, and I'm cross-checking with you, somebody has tweeted at me that they deduct 100 cedis compulsory towards the cathedral. Is it true?
That's not true. That is so not true. Some of these things, sometimes I'm sorry, but it's frustrating.
That's why I'm asking you.
Yes, no, not for you, but for like even the young person. I think that we must be truthful as people. But Francis, hey, can we sit and say that, let's say Starr says, I'm going to deduct something without even putting up a statement or something? No, it can't. And this is supposed to be an allowance that you cannot even take tax from it. So how on earth Mustafa Yusuf, who is Honorable Mustafa Yusuf, who is the sports minister, who used to be the executive director, is a Muslim. At the end of the day, did you ever hear there was a Hajj and we were deducting 1 Ghana to go support Hajj? No. So how on earth can I sit and say, or by which board can any decision be made, by whose authority, to say that I want to take 100 cedi from each person's allowance to go give cathedral? Some of these things, I don't know if it's, I think it's about, it's exuberance.
Exuberance?
Yes.
Youthful exuberance?
Yes. It's just a point of wanting to maybe tweet at Francis, and there was really nothing I could tweet at him, but I had to say something was done. Yes, because really, because the person goes into, if really the person is a national service personnel, you go into to see your allowance. You so know no deduction has been done. If ever a deduction is done, you are sent a text. Now, after the text, when even you pick your statement, it's written on it what the deduction was done for. We've not done a deduction. Why would you even for a second pull up this thing and say there is a deduction?
So they're done with their service. I've done my national service. I know many of my folks have equally done the same.
And to cite us when they are done with it.
Is what?
It's a cite us at national service when they
excite you. Yeah. But there are many too who are done with service and don't have jobs.
That is what I keep telling them, that you would need to look at. Because you see, the reality begins to dawn on the national service person, and it did on all of us when we were young, that it dawns on you when you are close to July, when your HR or supervisor calls and say, hey, do you know you'll be going on your terminal leave from 1st of August? Then you begin to appreciate that, okay, it's ended. How do you, Francis, because now in HR systems, if you ask in HR, they will tell you that they go to the extent of checking social media. Now, on your social media platform, all you keep doing is to be insulting people and making no case for yourself and trying not to put an image out there. Now, when you are doing your CVs and they ask you for your Facebook page, you gladly also type and wrote Gifty Oware Aboagye. And you think that when they go to check and all I have done is to put on a singlet or open my chest and pose for some girl on my chest and say, okay, look at me, and you've done all of that. If you're flaunting whatever you think you're flaunting, some bank will want to employ such a person? No. Because now branding is very important. And we kept using ACCA, we kept using the Google guys to train this national service personnel. I know what they do, because we are still youthful and we have all the excitement and we think, oh, somebody's come to write on our platform before, excuse my language, the F language at us, because ACC says they are training national service personnel on soft skills. And it was a national service personnel. And the person did, and you see that the person got, I think, the highest retweets. But you see, and I came back to say, after the 30th of August, you would appreciate what you just did. And gladly, I think by now the person is appreciating it.
Because we are in September now.
Yes. You would finish and realize that, what did I do? What did I gain? A lot of them don't even go to work because they say national service they're aiding. But when you are done, there are still many national service personnel who had been retained. So ask yourself, what stopped me from being retained? What stopped me from getting a job? What stopped me from being able to move to a point? I remember a young man, one Samuel, who decided to put his national service allowances together, because he was getting tips at work from the boss. They were topping up their allowance, and then whatever allowance he was getting, he put it up and set up a company. This young man visited us, and you know what the national service personnel, some of them did? They went on the platform and insulted the young man that you are very foolish. Do you think anybody can use the allowance to set up? But I tell them, if I want to sell water, how much do I need? I need less than 50 cedis to start it. If you have doing due diligence on this water trade, in about a month, somebody can. Because I've seen young national service personnel who have started selling airtime to even their own colleagues, and now they all big airtime companies. I went to KNUST, a mate of mine who had started doing this IT software. He will pick pen drives and stuff. Today, he owns one of the biggest IT systems infrastructure in this country. And everybody had forgotten that when we were in school, when all of us were excited and we were going to Aboagye and coming back with our excitement and we were in cars and we were happy, he was sitting down using the small money he had in Ghana to make us buy him pen drives. And who bought the pen drives? It was us, those who came from where the pen drives were sold. And we didn't buy one, but we came to buy it from him. And sometimes we are the ones who carried the pen drives to him. So I carried all to him. He sold it back to me in once, in twice, and he was making more money. And that's the reality. So our national service personnel should begin to rethink. And as the new cohorts are coming, they see it as it's a process of your first step up, where you can make all your mistakes, learn to be the one that you will be forever. And in positioning your thoughts, you know that there is a future that you have to uphold. And this charge, you are the only one who can keep it.
Okay. The postings that are done, I mean, offices, teaching, medical facilities. What about agriculture and farming?
We do a lot in agriculture.
That's where I'm going to now.
National service as a scheme has, we have what we call the demonstration farms across the country.
Okay.
Many of them.
How many farms?
As of now, Francis, we have more than 30 farms.
30 farms across the country.
Across the country.
Okay.
Almost in all the regions.
On average, each farm will be how many acres?
Yeah, I have even as many as 1,000 acres.
1,000 acres?
Yes, I have some places as many as 150, 200, depending on how big the...
What do they grow there?
So we move from maize to cowpea to piggery to cattle to... How do you call them? This one. Garden eggs, even in Eastern Region, because that's what in Eastern Region.
Yeah.
We have even sugarcane farm also at Gumwalome. We have Commander. We also have like we've had.
These are Guma people. They have Brazil. They have everywhere.
Gumwalome. And then at Commander too, we have a sugarcane farm. Then we have some other farms there. Abotiapota, we are collaborating to do vegetables with the Glaco people. That's the golden tulips.
Yeah.
And so we have them scattered all over. When you go to a place like the Hiamadrin.
That's in the Western region.
Yes.
Okay. I know that place very well.
All right. We have farms there, and we have farms also at Yagaba. We have farms at Ize, Tantala. We have farms almost everywhere.
Okay. And for all these farms, people are posted there to go and work?
Yes.
Okay.
And people are not
thousands?
Yes, people are not thousands because we don't have that huge capacity. Because what we do, they are demonstration farms, so we post them there to go support the farm and get hands-on on the farms. And then
over the years, have you seen people going to these farms and turning out to move into farming proper?
A lot of them. So we set up. So out of it, we had to do something around entrepreneurship in agric and IT.
Yeah.
Where we use digitization to be able to farm and farm proper.
Oh, nice.
So when you come to our farms, we use the drone system to do fertilization. We don't do fertilization on the hand and other things. And we had I think our second cohorts are in training. So we had the first cohort where they were given, I think, 20,000 each between Maslock and Capital Venture for them to set up. So in collaboration with National Service, they set up their own farms. So
nice.
To do the supply chain. So from some are into poultry, some are into the feeding, anything that connected the poultry, because that was the easier one. For instance, when you do the farming now, because Ghana, our system is changed, because now in September we are still seeing rains. So you are not able to really do a lot of cropping if you're individual, and it's very difficult. But then for the poultry, you can manage how you do.
You sound like a farmer.
Yeah, because after working for National Service for 5 years,
you're a farmer.
You end up being a farmer.
I see. Interesting.
So that's really what we do. And then we have a collaboration with the Best Farmers Association, where we post people to them for them to groom For instance, the Daku farms receive a lot of people from us. The Akate farms receive many people from us. How we post them to is to be groomed by these people, and then they collaborate with them through national service to be able to set up, including IT systems.
So from the planting and harvest on the farms, is there the entire value chain, the processing,
yes,
everything?
We do. You should visit us at our farms, at the Nungwa farms, on the, what do you call it, when you're going on the motorway. So there you would go see national service. We make our own sausages, we make our own toast. Everything is done there. And all this process, we have machines that we use them for. So we train people through all these chains and to understand. We still have veterinarians and other people we deploy on our farms and other farms for them to also go and work here. So we don't just cut the process. We have a supply chain.
The whole chain.
Yeah. That's why I said when we train those young ones, we didn't just train them to use, for them to only be placed on the, what do you call it, the farms. Some of them decided to divert into the supply chain.
Got areas. Oh, interesting. Okay. I just got a message from one of our listeners.
Okay.
Dr. Kobe Mensah. Let me just read exactly what he had to say on all that is being done, especially from the point of national service. Let me read that. It says, Francis, NSS can make postings to other places exciting and attractive by doing a documentary of people who were posted there and how it benefited them. Sharing this on social media will attract a lot of students. What do you say?
We have all of those documentaries. You see, Doc, it's funny that you would post that video and you know how many people will view it?
How many?
Like you get like 20 people view. But the day there is an issue on some so and so who went nude, there will be many other people. The stories had been spoken many times. We've done a lot of collaboration, even with EIB. Before COVID, we had this thing on awarding the best national service personnel. And what we did was to swing them not into the regular posting we do, but people who had made impact. We had young ones who had gone. We had a young lady who had moved from Accra all her life, lived in Accra, never spoken any language from the north, was posted to the northern region. She decided to go there, venture it. When she went there, a town where only few people are educated, she decided to now persuade most of the men there to let their daughters go to school.
Oh, nice.
Now she set up, she was bringing dignified people around the communities to come speak to these people and let them tell their stories and how they could also make it out of these places. Before she went, she had set it up. In the Volta region, we had another young lady who was sent there. A classroom that was broken down, she was able to mobilize the people in the town. They set it up. And now they have a full 6-block classroom there, done by the people locally. And then when she approached us, National Service collaborated with Calban, for instance, does a lot of these collaborations where they do boreholes and other stuff for the NSPs that are serving in these rural areas. So we keep doing these things, we keep telling these stories, we keep letting them know almost every year. But the truth is, we can always pull the donkey to the riverside.
But you can't force
when
it to drink.
It comes to drinking, and that's just a problem. And this excitement, you'll be amazed. A lot of our people are not excited, not because they don't want to be excited, but the fact that people are not ready to take the venture. And that is the scare.
Okay, but is it because the conversation around national service only becomes real in the final year? Final year for those in the universities. So that if from year one, you are conscientized that by the time you're done with your course, you go to do this 1 year of service to the country. This is what it will be about. This is what you could potentially do. See it as an opportunity to go and make impact and be different and start out your career. Will that not be a better way of addressing so that the interest that we want to see becomes a reality?
Yes, I think it's something we would have to take up. And as I'm still on radio, my communication and corporate affairs they are also listening and they would pick it up for us too. But one of the things we worked on is this. For instance, the universities have a limit they can allow you in. They may allow us into a point, yes, get you to do the A, B, C, D, E. But it's difficult when you have to go in there and then say, okay, right from first year, I want to come and do this with them. They will give you all the audience, but for how long? So I think that what rather we would have to consciously do, since we are under the Ministry of Education, will be to, we have tete-a-tete with our minister, and we find a way of the citizenry and the social studies we do, incorporate it in. So what National Service was supposed to have done for us first was to make us more nationalistic and patriotic, and appreciate what Ghana is, and understand that I need to serve and give back to the society. So yes, it's a good deal, but we will have to start from somewhere.
Of course. Many messages today, dear Gifty. This one says, "Good morning, Francis. Is Gifty? Please ask Gifty if he is aware of the irregularities in the system. That is, people sent to especially schools who don't go there to teach or work, but have an arrangement with the headmasters or those they are supposed to report to, agree on principle to split their monthly allowance 50-50. So the person will not go there to work, but every month goes to the institution to sign forms and share the funds."
Francis, when you come into our office, I think one of the days I'll share some of these details. Maybe we'll have to tell our story and let people understand that we so understand the system we run. And some of these people, because of the monitoring our officers have been doing at the district levels, that's why we do not do anything at the top, but everything is done beneath. We block most of them. It's just like, see, let me tell you something. If you are doing service and you decide to go and do your masters, you are stopped from the system.
You're stopped?
Yes. And we block you.
How would you know?
And do your, okay. So you see, the difference is this. The people often, because we do not come put it into the public, a lot of people think that, oh, they don't know about it. National Service, they don't know money. We so know a lot. And every time we have people on the grounds that do monitoring, because it's someone's job to do the monitoring, bring reports to the region, to the district, far to the, what do you call it, the headquarters. And then National Security also does some of these collaborations with us to make sure that the right things are done. So yes, some of these schools we have sanctioned through the education ministry, education service, a lot of these teachers who are, or head teachers who have done these things. But like I said, unless it comes to our notice, there's little.
So is there a complaint line or a whistleblower line?
Yes.
Somebody knows this, they call you and say, "Charlie, this thing is happening here."
Yes, there is. So we have some toll-free numbers on our website where people are able to do these things. And then again, like I said, on the when they call on any of the districts and the regions, they would just quickly pick it up because it's so part of their, what do you call it, their performance appraisals, and is a point of being able to get it done well. Because for instance, if a staff has paying any month and then it's detected that these people are, let's say, on the YEA and they're also on the National Service, the staff who verified them is held responsible. So there are many other responsibilities that the public financial management had given them, and all these things will be surcharged. So this surcharged, nobody wants to be surcharged, and all these things are happening. But the point is, because they are our administrative stories, we can't come to the public and begin to talk about how we stopped so and so people. But every year, Francis, we are saving Ghana as much as the least we've done is like a 10 million.
10 million.
Yes.
So once you see it, you stop the payment.
Stop payments, and then we ask you to return. So whatever amount you have taken, if you were working, fair, but if you were not and there is no proof of service, you return the money.
Return the money?
Yes.
And people have returned the money?
Yes, and some of them had even been arrested. The moment we had to go as far as arresting them.
Arrested, prosecuted, jailed, or arrested?
So mine is to arrest. It is a civil. When we arrest, damages are paid. Then you pay. Sometimes they even have to pay with interest.
Okay.
So if the audit, these are the stories the auditor never comes out to say. Because when the auditor didn't rise, also auditing us, these are the things they see, and maybe some of the times they would have to tell the stories too.
Okay.
And so that is how much.
It's like you have an axe to grind with the auditor general with these things too.
I think so, because it's frustrating when, as a, like I said, when as a public servant, all you see is the auditor general has not brought you an executive report or executive summary, but then you hear some news item, National Service, and then whatever has this in their report, and you're like, really? And then you call them and they say, oh, we are sorry, we'll bring you the report next week. Are you serious?
Really? Is that what happened with this one?
Because we still don't have an executive summary, I'm telling you.
Of this latest one?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. So that's the system we run, because you and I have created the impression that stories must be in the media even before they are listened.
No, wait.
So I am.
But if the Auditor General's report is done,
not even
completed,
completed,
usually we're told that when these issues come up,
so I'm not
you are given a right to respond.
I'm not listening to you. Can call my predecessors from Pesa White to everybody, and they will tell you that these are the challenges we keep getting. That as a public servant, as a somebody you have placed there to take care of your things, that sometimes I'm not even listened to. And really, most of these things are not like my personal thing I've done. But for instance, I remember National Service thing I read on Ghana website. Okay, at National Service, my regional office had some receipts. So really, we stopped issuing receipts. And as National Service regional office, they don't even issue receipts. But then if the auditor says that, okay, we went and receipt A to 5, it could not be found. You know what they were supposed to have done? Was just to cross-check with the headquarters. And then you go and you say to all your people there, and they said, no, the auditors will come to me. We did an exit conference. Why was this thing not brought up? We are sorry, but what is this? Really? But it's in the media. Then some young chap sitting somewhere had put a video on the person and had done an insulting video and said, Gifty Oware kwasiano. What's not no the National Service car. And nobody is going to say I should. And when you even try to sue, you know what they will say? Because they say don't take it personal. But it's personal. Because when it is done, who does it affect?
You.
Nobody cares about the fact that it was National Service and the money didn't come into my pocket. Everybody thinks, oh, yes, you're more DCK. Like when they saw the list of, say, people have been paid acting allowances. And then I remember some of your people putting it out there saying, and people were excited about it. I'm like, really? That I have not spent money and I'm being told I spent money and you're excited out there, putting it out there. And I saw banters of it, and then the person says, okay, so because it is in the Auditor General's report, okay. But you as a media man, when even we went to school, we're told that when even we have information, we should do feedback. But which of that were done?
Or the alternate pattern, be on the other side.
You.
Okay. Okay. Last Friday, I'm sure you saw the videos of the stampede at the job fair. You saw it?
No,
for the YE job fair.
I heard news about it, but I had not seen it.
Okay. As a country, what should be the way forward in how we address unemployment? Because in 2008, and I'm sure you remember, when the NYEP was created, it was meant to address youth unemployment. 13 years down the line, it is still the single biggest, most important matter of a priority for us as a country in addressing unemployment. What should we do about it? What should we do differently?
Francis, I think it's unemployment is a global issue and not necessarily to Ghana. And as far as all of us we will all grow, there will come to a point where we would have to start working to earn. And there is a challenge of how the mindsets are done. And I'm happy that I see now curriculums are being changed and they are putting entrepreneurship as courses, which means that we are going to change and twist the thought of our people. But not all of us will want to be entrepreneurs, and some of us will want to be salary earners. So there would be a point where...
And some can be salary earners and entrepreneurs. Like, I know some people who are like that.
I think you do know them, but I this guy is trying to put me into another and then at the end of the day, I'm a co-lady.
Okay.
And obviously a co-lady.
But I'm not even talking about you.
No, you and I, we understand this language. And then, so I think that there is a limit to what government can do. There's a limit to employment. There is a limit to how many people government can rule on. But I think that, like the interventions that government keeps proving, we should rather have a proper long-term, short-term analysis of the old we have done, what weaknesses came out of it, before even we bring a new one. Because if you check how these old things come, and sometimes it's very painful when you see like this 100 and something completing school and you see they have nowhere to go. And unfortunately, these are serious, educated people who could cause mess if left on the streets. And these people are dropped on the streets with no plan until NAPCO came, and how many people could NAPCO take? So there must be a conscious effort of government's part to make sure, and when I talk of government, I don't mean the NPP or the NDC government, but a
state plan.
A state plan to say that this is our long-term developmental goal towards getting our people in, stopping brain drain movement, just to make us understand that this is where the person must be. And I think consciously we should rather use our social media wisely. Because see, looking at some countries like South Africa and how much they make out of the social media
space,
why are we not doing the same? We can also make use of it, because I know of young people who are on social media from morning till evening, and all they have done is rather to use data, which is money, which they don't have, and they took from mommy, daddy, or someone else. Rather, people could make money out of even advertising, because a lot of the time, if all somebody is doing is to maybe pull EIB every day and say like, I want to still promote EIB in another way, come here, negotiate for EIB and say, see, I may not have a lot to give you guys, but I have friends. We can always be part of your viewers and listenership. So give us this thing, let's run it. Maybe EIB can find a plan and say, okay, can you get us maybe some groups to also bring in some marketing thing? So we share. All these things generate. And people have done these things over and over again, and I think it would rather help us. Because if we want to rely on government, I'm sorry, there is little government can do. Ghana needs to think through a plan. We need to curb things, and to really curb this unemployment, I think one of the first things we have to do is to find a strategy of being able to work on our network system and social media. Because you see, if we cut the time we spend on social media, maybe some of us will get better jobs. No joke.
If we cut down on the amount of time we spend on social media,
yes,
we will knock down and get better jobs.
Yes, because see, a lot of us, and I get worried. Nigeria has done it recently on Twitter. When Nigeria realized that their working force was on Twitter, the period that they work well, which is between the 8 to 5, they said no more Twitter. We are looking at it from the security point of view, the economic point of view, because economy is security. And if people are broke, people are hungry, they get on the street. If people are satisfied, you would hardly hear a very rich person screaming. Not because they don't know how to scream.
But the Twitter ban happened at the hilt of the NSS matter.
No, but the NSS matter came out of something.
Yeah.
And it was so economic. And every security problem comes out of economic. And when you check the places these things were happening, it was where? The places where the economic issues were messy. And when it happened like that, and they decided to, if you check the rating of Nigeria in terms of even the youth and involvement in nation development, it's changed. Perceptions change, and these indexes are just perception points. So if the young person in Ghana is saying that, see, I'm not going to waste my time, if I want to go on Twitter, I'm going to do something more important, and if I'm going on Twitter, I'm going to do a promotion that can give me back some money, we'll be there. Because there are people who are making lots of money. Now, why is everybody blogging? To make money.
Yeah.
The only bad thing about it is that in Ghana, we take only the negative stories, and because that is what they claim sells, and I don't know when it started selling, but that's what they said. But then again, there are still people who are still doing positive stuff with this social media, doing courier services, doing things that are still making people access. I saw one young man who picks things like, for instance, let's say every agency, what we do, and contacts you can easily get, and the person was working on Twitter, and what the person does is that in a day he picks, let's say, national services and so all the contacts we can easily get, whatever info contacts, and put it out there. If this guy generates it into something else, I would have to be paying to be able to access it, and one day I'll ask him to be the one picking the data for me, and that is money. So we just have to maybe holistically look at it from the perspective, now that there is a Twitter office here, there is a Google office here, Microsoft, they would have to help us to use what digitization has come to give us. If not, I think that their social corporate responsibility is not really fulfilling for us as a nation, because I don't know what I had gained from Google ever since they came here. But I keep going to Google, and Google has become our friend. So our friends should at least give us something. And I think they should broaden their horizon and find a way of putting more of our youth into this whole digital space to make them understand. Boom Play is now on which I see Boom Play all over. But when I remember when they started, like some 3 years ago, nobody knew of them. But today, people are watching the Big Brother Africa, and you see Boom Play displayed. Why? It started from a point, and it's going to get to that point.
We get better.
But you and I would have to find a way of letting them understand.
On youth, fix the country. What do you say?
Fix the country. I believe in fix the country.
You do?
I believe that a country must be fixed no matter how, no matter what. That is why I'm doing my quota at National Service, to make sure I digitize processes and make sure that the country is fixed properly. The president is doing his bit to make sure he brings interventions. I think as an individual, as Gifty, as Francis, you also got to be disciplined. because they can't fix all of it. I get angry every day walking on the street and driving, and you see young men, especially young men, pulled out from their zips, and all they're doing is just watering the flowers we have around the street.
You mean urinating on our streets?
Yes, and when they are done with it, they say the countries will be fixed. I see people throw things out of cars out there, and then it gets choked into our gutters, and we are keeping fixing it. I think that the government has to do their quota. And like I said, I want us to move away from the little partisanship. Right after election, maybe there should be a proper band that says between any year, second to third year of after an election, no politics. And then we can be able to manage a system, manage it as a country. And when we are done with it, we go back into our political mood in the last year to run. Then we can be able to fix it proper. And then people should stop the impression of, because I am NPP, anything NDC is bad. Because you are NDC, anything NPP is bad. I think that is the problem of the country. If we don't move away from this one and understand that the country needs to be fixed, not for anybody, but for my son, for your son, who has to own this country, because this is all they have. I have a son who believes that one day Ghana will get better. But if Ghana is going to get better and my son's teacher is teaching him that Ghana is not good, how would this young man, out of the 10 slots in their class, maybe may have 5 of them who think that let's just add up to the mess. So we need to reorient them and begin to teach them that, see, this is the country you have, this is all you have to succeed on, and then you have to get it better, and then we can fix it. For me, when they were on the street, I love it because I love demonstrations. I have even taken the police to court because of demonstrations before, and I was so glad they would rather use the energy into that one, which is more of a dialogue, than to say that we are fighting, we are cracking heads, because that is not the way to go. We should just dialogue as teams. We should be meeting ourselves as youth. I don't know, whichever platform we can create ourselves to be having those conversations. Now, I saw on Clubhouses when even I saw people discuss these things and how we as young people can meet to help each other. And I saw someone like Nanaba put up to say, okay, if you are a celebrity, blah, 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 you won't help. Let me know. I'll fix this thing for you. I'll do this. These are the ways we can use to raise each other. And then we can achieve something. That one, I can gladly say it is a fixing it than to say, hey, fix it, and then scream to someone and say, change constitution. What part of the constitution?
You don't think constitution should be changed? No part of it should be touched?
We only abridge things that we've seen errors on. This whole indemnity thing people keeps talking about. Which year does even indemnity starts? For crying out loud, which year? This indemnity story, we've even outlived the fact that at this point, right from somewhere even from the Rawlings regime, we've not even signed death warrants before. So what are we saying? There are things that are in the constitution that are not being touched. Must we take it off? Taking it off also becomes a nuisance, because really, my brother, if we are not having these issues managed well, we'll get to a point where very soon you and I will be here and someone will tell us that when you meet Gifty, change your dresses with me because this is what they think. People have assumptions, they have fantasies, but we cannot rule a nation on the fantasies of others. You rule a nation based on logic and reasoning. You rule a nation based on not what everybody wants. That is why I wanted MPP, somebody wanted NDC, some wanted CPP, somebody even said he was going to vote for the Osofo Chiabosom. Didn't care about whether he was getting 1 vote or 2 votes. It was the person's right. But to what extent can a right be used when you are not even giving back to the same right you are seeking for? So people are just taking the right on their shelf. They are not even giving a single responsibility out to the nation. So how do we get it? Some people are in this country just to think that, okay, I have a space. You are on radio, you are on TV, and then there is more space to me. I have a verified account. Let me just shoot it. But then after you are done shooting, like I said when we were beginning, do you care about the repercussion? Do you care about what the consequences are? So we should be positive change, because that's what we need as a nation. And Ghana, to tell you what, Francis, in Africa, if Ghana would not appreciate what we have, it's only when you lose it. I have gone to countries who have had wars before, countries who have had no peace, even to Nigeria. If you've ever gone to Port Harcourt and seen how people who are supposed to be rich because there is oil and you step in the oil, but these people are suffering, then you appreciate that. In Ghana, where I could sit on TV or radio with any of the other political opponent and we are done and we can sit at Afrikiko and maybe take a juice, is better than to think that me screaming to say there should be an end to some regime because I don't believe it is right. I beg to differ.
Okay. Okay, Gifty, we could be at this the whole day, but let's end on a football note, shall we? Because you are in that space.
Yes.
Yeah. How's Berry Ladies doing?
Berry Ladies, they are doing well. They're
doing well.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the plan?
I've had some few stuff, so I've been like some 3 weeks off them. But I think I know they are campaign somewhere in Eastern region on pre-season, preparing to start the season well. And theirs has just been a point of they are having collaboration with some few clubs both in Europe and I think in the UAE, and seeing how best we can get them. We got some of our girls going out of the country to Europe to play, and even I think Coca-Cola also had some collaborations with us and took some of them also on some, I think, 3 months trip. And we're hoping that maybe along the next era we are able to get what we want and get more of our girls playing in the national team, because we've done well as a team that came, and like as a newbie we were able to make a lot of impact, and then we were able to raise even the viewership on social media for the Premier League, which is the Women's Premier League, which was not really heard a lot to that extent. And to me, I think that was our success as a team, and they keep doing it well. And then I'm happy about our coach Mercy Tego, who is also who is the coach of the Black Queens. I know they'll be playing in Nigeria very soon. I wish them well. And then we think this year they will do better.
You'll do better.
Yeah.
Black Stars. What's wrong with it?
Black Stars.
Yes.
Black Stars. There's really nothing wrong with it. Teams don't always get it right. Teams sometimes make mistakes. And I think that it's just a point of, we have a technical director who should be able to watch.
Is he doing a good job? Are you seeing clearly what the vision is for the Black Stars? From the coach and management perspective? From
management perspective, yes. From the coach perspective, I think the coach he needs time. You cannot.
He's been on for more than a year.
Yeah, but you see,
if we still can't see what he wants to do, what are you saying?
But really, he's promised to take us to the African Cup and also to take us to the World Cup.
But see, Gifty, you drive. If somebody drives badly and you're sitting next to him, you know.
Yes, but sometimes I've met someone who drives very bad, but the person took me to where I was going. One of them too was very nice on the road. Before I knew, somebody rather hit his back. So your point on this one with the Black Star saying CK Afama is what? I am not for or against CK. I think you are in the middle. Yes, you are indifferent. I'm indifferent because sometimes Ghanaians we talk too much, but most of us have not played. Okay. I have seen Mercy be on the field and I'm like. So didn't Mercy know that she's supposed to just have dropped this girl and put her? And when she was done and I asked her, she gave me reasons. And I was amazed. When I sat down quietly and took myself off the team and stopped the money I'm putting in, which would make me move around, and said, okay, this was what she meant. It made a lot of sense to her. But to me, it didn't make any sense. And many other friends of mine. So you're saying we should leave him alone? Let's see how it makes sense. Let him play his next match. Let's see how he manages it. Let's see the errors he'll bring. Maybe from there we can make a decision on him. But now, because we were the same people who screamed on Kwesi Appiah and wanted Kwesi Appiah out. Yes. Kwesi Appiah is out. Yes. Now we have a new CK. Yes. Maybe the next person we should bring is the Has. Chelsea have been screaming about managers. They sack them, they get results. But they get results for a while and then it drifts again. And then they sack and do again. Arsenal has always been on the top 4. And I like that one rather to be. I want to be in the top 4. But we should be winning things, no? Not be in around. It's always not about. So being a football administrator, I have come to the realization that it's always not about the lead. It's about being able to be relevant when it comes to the space of sports. But Black Stars, the ultimate has been to win. But Black Stars is going to win it. I think they're good because they have a very. GFA has a good ESCO team. They have a good president who should know better. And I think because he's been a football administrator for a very long time, he sold players. He sold even players to Chelsea, and he understands what it takes to get them there. I think they should just get back on the drawing table and work something out. That's what I think. Okay. Because me being a member of the, the Black Maidens management, that's what we have been trying to do every time, that we scout them young and then we progress them. So it should be a conscious effort where we get a lot of these young guys to put them together so they can play more, and then they can get a better team too. Gifty, I thank you for your time this morning. It's been an hour and 15 minutes of this conversation. Wow, yeah, interesting. You didn't realize, but that's true. But as I let you go, do you ever in your life
want to be the president of the Republic of Ghana?
No.
Why not?
It's stressful. I think I would want to serve. I see myself more of a kingmaker, where I would rather want to become a godmother at a very tender age, because I'm really still young. People get surprised when.
Are you a godmother yet?
I became long ago.
Okay.
And
so you've been a godmother.
So many supposed people who are even ministers who are still my godsons and goddaughters.
I see.
Yeah, because I just realized I've been in politics for 11 years.
11 years now.
Yes, out of my 35. Yeah. So I've been in it for a while. And now this is what happens. I think that I rather want to be a kingmaker and help shape, because every day, all these schools I'm doing, all these courses I'm diverting from election courses to security courses to management to this, is to help someone shape thoughts. And then the dream I have, sitting back, I would see it better than being the driver. Okay. And that is really what I want to do.
So you want to be the car owner than the driver?
I would rather want to become maybe part of the car owner pool, but not the extreme car owner. But
what is extreme car owner?
Yeah, you see, I like the extreme word because you see, it gives absoluteness, and I don't.
So a party chairman?
No, never thought of that. Maybe one day an administrator of the party. Yes.
Okay.
So maybe become a general secretary of the party.
General secretary.
Just to see, because I love to see administratively things do better. And the first thing, if you ask anybody at National Service, that's what they would. I think that is what they would say. That I want to see the thing work, but then I want to see it in a team mode where everybody feels part of it. I hate to see people just jungle out and say, oh, they've just left it to us, and then we all work it out. But then I want to be in the team. I love to be the one being the Olivia Pope of the system, check the boss.
Olivia Pope.
Yeah, but not to go and say I'm the boss. No, that is why I told you the last time that I rather want to remain deputy executive director, general service, which is a very huge position.
Okay.
And everybody's strength is
than to be the ED himself.
Because when you're the ED himself, is very lonely, because that one who takes care of your back. So there are good and bad to it, but I think that I work very well when I am able to see clearly, sit down and see that this is where we are heading and this is where we should. Okay.
Gifty, thank you for your time.
Welcome.
Let me pick calls. Yeah? Let me pick calls? A couple of calls, yeah.
Hey,
030-223-0144, 030-223-0145. And then we'll call it a morning. 030-223-1144, 030-223-1145.
This is Jerry.
Jerry, let's hear you.
Francis, I have listened to the woman, right? And I see so much potential in her. Francis, this is the sort of people who live in leadership. No matter